right, we are here again on this day that we record this podcast, which this is a podcast. Hello. I am JJ, and this is We Were Gamers. I'm here with Michael.
Hey, everyone.
And Andy.
Hey. How's it going?
And I'm leading the show today for, I don't know, reasons. And you know what? I think it's a good change of pace. It's nice to be in control a little bit. Is this how you feel every time, Andrew?
I don't know. Describe to me how you feel.
Like, really, like I can take this podcast wherever we want. I could just point the train straight off the tracks to start off with.
Is your finger hovering over the button?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes, because then we end up on all sorts of tangents.
I feel like we were going to end up on the tangents no matter what.
That's
just a question of how quickly we get there, right?
Yeah. No, I had a long drive in from Las Vegas today, so I'm not my perkiest self. It's fun to lead the pod, first of all. And yeah, after, 5 hours in the rain in the car, sometimes you're a little bit worn out.
I was just going to say, it's a brutal day to be driving. I don't know what the weather is like when this goes out, but the day we're recording this has been off and on rain where I am all day.
Well,
and like hard rain.
Yeah.
All weekend up here.
I want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law who drove in the rain. It's just tiring to sit in traffic for 5.5 hours, so.
Oh, yeah. Double plus on that.
Yeah. Vegas was fun, though, I have to admit. I went out there for the Super Bowl. Superb Owl, I guess we're supposed to say, although that's probably also trademarked.
Look, no one's suing this podcast, probably. In order for them to sue us, we'd have to make money. So, hey.
True. Take
sponsors,
everything that I've made from this podcast.
What's 50% of zero?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you all watch the game? I assume we were texting about it quite a bit, so I assume everyone was watching the game.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say that I was extremely underwhelmed and mostly bored by the actual sports that were played. I just didn't have a good time.
Ouch.
Yeah, with the exception of guys named Edelman, I felt like there wasn't a whole lot exciting going on the field.
PEDs are a hell of a drug.
Right?
No, that takes away something from a champion. Whatever. They won the lowest ratings in 10 years because people were bored. But I think that the game did not get boring for me until maybe midway through the third quarter. I did have that moment where I had used the availability of Vegas to say that I thought the Rams could surprise the Patriots with a sum of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then they showed Jared Goff coming out of the tunnel, and I said, I've thrown my money away.
Yep.
He looked very nervous. It was very obvious from the beginning that he was rattled before he even took the field.
And it seemed like the Patriots' whole game plan defensively was to keep him feeling that way.
Yep. And
it worked.
Despite all that, though, the game was 3-3 for a very long time. So defensive football, if you like watching it, was the game you got. And I don't think that's always boring.
All right. I agree with that statement. This was not fun defensive football. This was boring defensive football. And the distinction is that it's not like there were a lot of like exciting defensive plays. And there were a few, right? There was the interception right off to open the game. There were later interceptions, some like really good sacks and stuff. But most of it was focused in one direction. And it made it so that while one team seemed to slowly be in control of the game, the other team never had a chance. And it was just kind of like they do 4 plays, they punt, the game goes back. The other team, maybe there's some offense there, but no, we're in control here too, but we're not going to. And then they just kind of, eventually, all right, I guess we need to score now. Here's a touchdown. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of half laughing about if the Rams had won, you have to have made the kicker the MVP, right?
Absolutely.
The punter?
Seriously.
Hecker, yeah.
100%.
Not Zerline, but Hecker, yeah.
No, Hecker.
Yeah. It wasn't great. There were some pretty decent ads, though. We got some looks at some stuff coming out, some fun pop culture stuff. I think my favorite, if I had to pick, is maybe the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone tease.
Oh, that looks great. I was already excited for that, knowing that he was rebooting that, but just to see the tease made me even more excited. And there's apparently a longer version of it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have not gone and looked it up, but there is a longer version of the spot that they did.
I thought that I misconstrued that and thought it was a joke for a while as he did that. And I knew that he was doing the thing, but the way that they framed it and the way he looked walking through the empty stadium, I thought it was going to be a joke about the Twilight Zone and not a teaser for the actual Twilight Zone he was doing.
I think I just thought he was a writer. I didn't know he was the guy. He was going to be Rod Serling essentially on that show.
I'm excited.
Which is great.
Yeah. I had a comment about the commercials. Did anyone notice how many different commercials for different companies had the same exact looking robots in them? Miller Lite, H&R Block, Peloton, all those guys had the same human face robot with metal body.
Huh.
Somebody went to the same ad company.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I wonder if that's like a case of like, we have this license-free quote-unquote robot.
Yeah. That was a weird thing that I noticed about halfway through. And if we're picking a favorite commercial, it's probably the NFL 100 party.
Yes.
That was a great commercial.
Very good. Very good.
Mostly because it all starts with Beast Mode assaulting a cake, and that's amazing.
It just cuts back to him later, and he's just like still eating.
Well, even before he reached for the cake, the fact that he's the only one sitting there in sweats.
Yep. Everyone has black tie, and he's just like wearing sweats.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I think I'll finish it out. I think my favorite, besides like the two you named, were definitely probably two of my top three. But I think my favorite was the Game of Thrones fake Bud Light ad.
Yes. Also a great one.
So that was so close that it had to be Bud participating, right?
Yeah, because it's their entire cast of their commercials, right?
Yeah,
they're not going to let them just recast the same people to do the same bit with their logo, right?
I didn't catch the exact start of it. I picked it up as the mountain came on, and I thought, wait a minute, were all those the actual people, or?
Yeah, the king was there, the queen, the dilly dilly guy. They're all like in the ad up before that point.
And the knight looks the same as the knight, and it has Bud Light written right across it. He's handing out beers to the other people. Like, it was some co-marketing going on there for sure.
Yeah, I think what made it funnier to me is that I had actually the very first Bud Light was the first one that they did about the corn syrup.
Yeah.
And at first I had the thought about that one. Did someone else steal the Bud Light cast and they're going to make fun of them for using corn syrup on their beer before the commercial unfolded? So to then see an ad where someone had taken the entire cast and flipped the Bud Light commercial on its head was particularly satisfying.
Genius.
Yep. Nice. Very, very, very good. Well, we have been moving and doing some other stuff this weekend. I know I had a little bit of a pre-Super Bowl event that my wife and I went to. We went to the Karl Strauss Changing of the Barrels this weekend.
Whoa.
Is their yearly anniversary celebration. And this year they had a 30th anniversary barrel aged in rye whiskey barrels. I think it was a stout.
Yum.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was very good. And my wife gets the Wife of the Year award, I would say, for helping me
get home,
secure, let's say, additional bottles beyond what we were intended to receive.
I see.
Yeah. They do one of those things where, you get a free glass and a coupon for a bottle when you leave with every entry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we handed ours in, I was getting the glasses we were taking home cleaned at the bar, and she went and handed in both of our tickets and was waiting for me at the door. I met her up and we walked out, and she's like shoving me out the door as hard as she can. And I'm like, what is your problem? Let's go. We're going. It's fine. I know it's raining. I'm sorry. And like, I didn't get why she was so mad or like forcing me. And she's like, no, okay, wait. So we walked out and went around the corner, and then she handed me the tickets that they didn't take from her. And she's like, they weren't looking at you. Go back and get 2 more. So we did, and I'm very excited to drink those beers.
Okay. Nice. Michael, I don't know if you saw Bottle Logic's announcement for their anniversary party has also come through.
I did not. I was actually just looking at the end of last week, so I'm excited that they've posted some dates, huh?
Their new theme for the following year, this current year, is exploration. So next year will all be D&D themed.
Oh, very
cool. Okay, very nice. Yeah, they've had some really good themes in the past years.
Well, it's been video games, exploration, space. And I think
they're going to have a beer that's going to be called Eye of the Beholder, because obviously you would call it that.
They may have already made a Beholder beer.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it was one of the ones they make in cans. But yeah, so there's dates out there for that if people listening to us live in the Anaheim area, because unfortunately it kind of only benefits you if you're local now.
Do we want to round out beer news, Michael?
Yeah, sure. So we had a bit of a yeah. So I had a bit of a post Super Bowl happening. We just got back from Thoreau tonight, Brewery Thoreau. My wife, also nominated for a Wife of the Year award last year, got me a Reserve Society membership for this year as a gift. And as part of being a member, they do First Mondays, where they shut down one of their tasting rooms, the tasting room at their satellite facility, Thoreau, to members and their guests only. So a member and a guest. And they expand the number of society exclusive beers that they have on tap. And usually there is some sort of event going on as well at the same time.
Very cool.
What was the event?
Yeah. This month they had a panel just kind of telling stories about some of the beers that they had been making so far this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Always
Q&A?
get a little...
Yeah, I think they took questions at the end.
I like that inside baseball stuff.
All right. So it's really cool. It'll be really nice when the weather turns nice and they can actually use the patio again. It's a little crowded at the moment, especially with the rain coming down.
Yeah, the rain hampered this event that I was at this weekend as well. They sent out an email like 2 days before, like, we're still planning to have it. We're going to move everything inside. Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
Those can be cool, though, when you're inside and you're up against tanks and things like that. That can be fun.
Yeah, I actually thought it was really cool because, like, you walk around the bottling facility a little bit and the tanks kind of take up, well, they make like a hallway. It was pretty fun. All right, well, we've been doing some, like, quick news segments here in the past recently, so I think we'll keep that tradition alive this week. And let's go with Andy first. What kind of news you bring?
I wanted to focus on the Switch because I saw 2 stories, both of which the whole point of this segment was to get your opinions. So I don't know why I was about to say I want to get your opinions.
We like giving them.
The first one I saw this past week, I think it came out Monday or so, was that one of the big places that's pretty accurate about rumors, I think it might have been Forbes, who usually doesn't publish stuff until they know, you know? Said that this coming year, the Switch refresh is not going to be crazy new hardware or anything else like that, but instead they're actually going to bring out a second model and it'll be smaller.
Okay. I have questions.
I have lots of questions too.
Yeah.
As a person who has used a Switch, isn't it already pretty small? They make the Joy-Cons smaller than they are. Won't no one be able to hold them? They will literally disappear into your palm.
I would guess they only mean screen size when they say this.
So then are they changing the aspect ratio of the screen to make that work? That's awkward.
That would be terrible and awkward. And also, would you still use it for a stand? Like, people put them on stands. I don't know how much smaller it can get while you use it on a stand.
You just need the one port at the bottom to make the stand work. But like, I see your point though. The stand currently fits very nicely over the screen.
What makes it better than a 3DS at that point? Like, much smaller, and you're almost in 3DS XL range.
Yeah, I mean, if they make one that's half the size, your 3DS is bigger.
I find the Switch's size mostly comfortable. The Joy-Cons are too small.
Yes, they are.
So in my ideal world, this is the Switch, and this year or next year, the refresh is a Switch XL.
That's the direction I would have. If you'd asked me if they were going to come out with a second one, I would have guessed that they'd have gone a little bit bigger.
And it doesn't even need to be a lot bigger, honestly. Like, if you just took the current one and, like, dragged the corner out to, like, maybe 1.1 or 1.2 times the size, that would be all right, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be crazy big. The Forbes report cited that they thought that they hadn't tapped their market, their children market, and that's why they wanted to make a smaller one. But I have to say, I know quite a few parents that have bought them for their kids with small hands. I don't think that that's really a marker that's holding people back from the device.
I had heard at some point that maybe it was this article, I don't know, that Nintendo had moved their target from one Switch per household to one Switch per user, which is a very different target.
Yeah.
Which is weird. That's weird because the whole idea was, like, it was advertised as set it down on the table and get more Joy-Cons.
Right, but I think they're noticing that no one actually does that.
Well, maybe it's where the Joy-Cons are priced.
Also very possible.
Those are ridiculous. Right,
for if you have a family of 4 for 3 sets of Joy-Cons, you may as well just buy another Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are outrageous. I kind of want to play Mario Party for the Switch, but if I ever have people over to play Mario Party, then it's just going to be bad news. I have to spend like the cost of the game and then double the cost of the game plus some to get a second set of Joy-Cons. It's like, no.
So the other story I had that was with the Switch, which confuses me more than the size, is that Microsoft announced this past week. Also, I want to honorable mention the Microsoft commercial for their Xbox accessibility controller.
Yeah, that thing is very cool. It's been out for like a year or something. But like, good that they're getting it out there, like letting people know, hey, this is a thing.
I had heard about it and I had never seen it, and I think that that's amazing. The second story was also Switch related, but also Microsoft related. Microsoft is going to build in Xbox Live on Switch.
I heard about this just a little while ago, actually.
I don't think that's what that means.
Okay.
I think that they're saying that, like, hey, our platform, like our development platform, will allow you to make Switch games and Xbox games at the same time.
I don't think so, buddy, because it has said that they have updated Minecraft so you can sign into Xbox Live inside of Minecraft on the Switch.
Huh.
Yeah, I saw it announced. I saw the announcement about it tied to achievements.
Right. So they're saying, oh, you went to your friend's house, you played X game on their Switch, and you signed into your Xbox Live account. You come home to your Xbox One, and your achievements are there.
Okay, so they're really just making the Xbox Live service available on the Switch and PC and other places, so that it kind of extends the way that you could use it between both your Xbox and your PC to now also the Switch. Very interesting. I think I did not read it that way. That's kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy and makes me wonder how Microsoft views themselves in the market going forward. I don't think they're abandoning the Xbox One, or anything like that. Obviously not. They're definitely committed to the console, but it might show me that they fear weakness in their own platform, because I know they're retargeting PC games much harder. They're trying to get games, the Game Pass. Is that their system of like pay monthly and you get to access stuff?
Yeah, it's like here's a monthly subscription to free games.
They want that to be a PC thing as well. Now, oh hey, you can Xbox Anywhere, working with Nintendo to make sure that works. Right, because Nintendo could just say no.
Yeah, of course. But obviously they didn't, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe Microsoft is kind of buttering the bread on both sides here a little bit with this move, because I bet all of their infrastructure stuff that does that runs through Microsoft's cloud platform. And if you access this stuff, you will be purchasing Microsoft's cloud computing as well at the same time. So you are kind of like buying web infrastructure for all this, cross compatibility stuff from Microsoft at the same time that you're integrating this stuff into your product that's sold, Nintendo's console or PC or wherever.
I don't see a huge downside for Nintendo in this. I do wonder about them trying to... They don't seem to have any incentive in staving Microsoft off of their console.
Yeah. If anything, it makes Nintendo look bad because Microsoft offers an online service that's good and Nintendo's is terrible. It's like, oh, hey, here's this Nintendo system you can use wherever you want and all over the place, and it works, and you just transfer stuff. It's great. Oh, but Nintendo, you can't do that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's two of the things that they sort of touted in the announcement were the friends list and the achievements, which Nintendo has never really shown a whole lot of interest in building up as features.
Yeah, I mean, the friends list still requires a friggin' code, man. What?
Yeah, at least let me scan a QR on my app for using your social services, or I don't even understand how that... I have the Nintendo subscription, and I still don't understand what I need the phone app for.
It's baffling, the whole thing. So, maybe it's a win-win if everyone just uses Xbox Live's stuff on Nintendo's platform. Like, maybe that's great. Maybe it just makes all the Nintendo stuff better because
you're just paying
the Microsoft thing.
You're just paying a flat fee for Nintendo to manage the internet through their console, and you move on with your life.
Yeah, that is kind of lame. Well, I mean, I guess all of them do it too, right? Sony one and Microsoft both have that same thing. So
yeah.
Oh, well, that is certainly different, I would say.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you got? Got some good news for us?
Yeah, so I've got two. One is real brief, and it's actually something that I just saw today. And having put one of these together myself, I have an extra appreciation for this. But are you guys familiar with the sports concept of a circle of doom? I'm sure you've seen
in
one.
a sport or any sport?
In any sport, yeah. So it's when you mock up, they're usually ring-shaped because they're usually not this big, but it's when you have a particular league or division where you can trace losses starting with one team all the way around through all the other teams and back to the team you started with. Right? So Team A has beaten Team B has beaten Team C all the way around until Team Z has beaten Team A.
So the things that tie the World Cup in knots.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. In a pool of 4 where each team has beaten the next team.
The fun transitive properties of sports.
Exactly. So someone over the weekend, and I like to think that they didn't do this by hand, that they wrote a simple script to do it for them, but they did it with every single team in Division I basketball.
My goodness. Isn't that a lot of teams?
It is like 343 teams.
Good Lord.
So here, let me send you guys this picture so you can see it. It is a star of doom.
I can't handle this.
This is too much, yeah.
And it literally traces through every team having lost at least one game.
I thought that Scoregami was bad. This is just...
It was this all this season?
This is this season, 2018-2019, yes.
I thought this was going to be like some kind of all-time thing. I'm like, okay, you could make that work all time. No, this is literally one season.
This is just this current season.
This podcast was a mistake. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So I saw this, and then I started going in my head, like, how would I do this in like a simple coding script, right? And it's not, I don't think it would be that difficult to have a computer run it for you.
Yeah.
Like if you tried to do it by hand, I feel like you'd go mad.
Right. Yeah. It is too big a data set, I assume. I mean, I guess I don't know how many games each team plays, but you have to that would be a lot of iterating. You'd be really tired.
I wonder how they made the graphic, though. That might have been made by hand.
Oh, yeah, the graphic might have been made by hand, but once you have all the who lost to whom, the graphic is just, time.
Wow, I wondered where UCI would fit in here. Pacific beat UCI, who beat you. I can't even read that. UC something. Oh, that's tiny.
It's small, yeah.
Where on the circle are you?
Straight down from the Star of. First of all, you didn't even say the name of this thing, which is called the Star of Suck.
Oh well, yeah. There's that too.
Andrew, this is a
PG podcast,
family podcast here.
All right, I'm sorry. This is too much for me. I just can't. It's flowing through me, and I
like that this guy's original post though lists all the scores for all these games and what days they were on and the whole thing. That's some real dedication right there.
Yeah, some work definitely went into this. But that's not actually my story. My news story is, so you guys, I'm sure, have, like everybody these days, have a bunch of personal accounts. They've all got passwords, hopefully all different passwords. But I'm sure that you have also, yeah, I know, we're all in that boat too with you, Andy. I'm sure that you have made plans with your significant others to have access to your accounts in the event that something unfortunate were to happen. Go with me here. So what happens? Okay. What happens?
That's a reasonable thing to say.
If you are the founder of a crypto exchange that owes $190 million to its clients, and you die as the only holder of the password to the account with the bulk of the money?
Yeah.
Crypto.
That is what happened to a Canadian company. Their founder was on vacation in India. He died of health complications for a condition that he had, and no one has access to the bulk of the money. And they brought in an IT guy who couldn't crack the encryption on his laptop.
What? Yeah, okay. No, that was never going to be a choice, assuming that they were a legitimate cryptocurrency thing.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. But
the software world moves fast. You should maybe think about some of this stuff that has been solved in the world of corporations and, keys of succession and stuff over big companies for a long time. And your little software startup maybe should think about this stuff sooner than later.
Well,
yep.
Yes. But also, in the world of putting your money with people, there's a reason you put it in things like banks before random guy who owns a crypto holding company and is the only person in charge of your money.
Yeah. That's cryptocurrency is designed to be secure. I guess this one is secure
forever.
Yeah. Single point failure, anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great. But also, it's crypto. I can't feel that bad.
I do, but I don't.
I mean, people that lose their money, yeah, I feel bad. But if it was crypto, was it actually real money?
Who can say? That leaves, I think, you here, JJ.
Yeah, it's me. So I think my piece of news here is that, this is the time of the Lunar New Year.
It is.
Yes.
And many things are doing Lunar New Year themed things. I think Overwatch is doing a thing.
Yep. You should log in and win some games so you get some player icons if you want them.
Yeah. Check that out. I think Hearthstone is having some kind of sale that I don't care about, but someone might. And a bunch of...
We have come so far on this podcast. There's a Hearthstone. It's a game.
The true statements.
I know.
And a bunch of storefronts are doing sales for the Lunar New Year, including Steam. And the Steam storefront is doing something I don't think I've ever seen them do before, which is straight up give you $5 off any cart of $30 or more.
What percentage is that?
Not like a huge percentage.
16 and change, almost 17.
And is that accompanied with games being on sale for real, or
there are games that are on sale? Yes.
Okay.
And it uses the sale price of the games to determine if you hit the $30 mark or not.
That makes sense.
So you can get to exactly $30 and then dip back below $30 with your $5 coupon.
But it's your cart. It doesn't have to be per item.
Correct. You could buy 2 $15 games.
I see. So this is Steam Panic for losing more games?
I mean, no one's losing anything.
Oh, I just saying with them having lost more with games that are coming to their service instead of the Epic Game Store.
Oh, you think this is a retaliation for the look at our user base, we can sell a lot of copies here, we'll make things cheaper for you somehow?
Mm-hmm.
I think the most interesting part of this is that very upfront, Valve is paying for this $5, not the developers.
Just that's appropriate for them to say, though, because often the sale price is hit but to the developer.
Yeah, well, and the sale prices do hit the developers, right? They make less money when it's on sale. But this one in particular is hey, don't feel bad about using your $5 because it's coming out of our pocket, our giant, extremely wealthy pockets.
I also don't think it's a $5 just blanket across the board.
How do you mean?
Oh no, there it is. Sorry, I was just looking in the wrong place. $5 off off your first purchase,
right?
And then you can redeem that. So they have a token thing going on too that you can redeem for more $5 discounts.
Correct. However, the number of tokens you would need to do that equates to something like $100 in sales.
Yeah,
so maybe it's not going to be something you're going to do. But hey, if you spend a whole bunch and you want to buy a bunch of games, you could, in theory, get another $5 off. Or you could spend those tokens on getting a badge and getting some cute profile stuff and emoticons or whatever.
Do you chase any of that stuff, or does it all go on the market for you guys?
Well, the tokens you can't put on the market.
No, I will probably the emoticons and the player profile pictures and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
I
sell the vast majority of it, unless it's selling for 2 cents or whatever, and then I don't bother.
Gems.
Yeah, I usually what I do is during the big sales, I'll get however many cards I'm going to get, turn them into as many badges as I can, and then on the last day just sell whatever's left over.
I strictly sell every single card now that is selling for more than 2 cents or whatever the minimum is.
Yeah, if you sell early enough, you can get a pretty good return on having cards.
Yeah, definitely.
Cards throughout the sale.
So that's cool. I don't know. I'm excited for that. It looks like there's some pretty decent discounts on stuff, and it's a way to get a discount on games that are not discounted on Steam, including games that are not out yet. So I know other websites have responded with similar sales, sites that sell Steam keys and other digital download stores. So, check it out there if you're looking for some games to play. All right, so moving on, I think I'll say that I have been playing still a bunch more of that Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, and hey, that game's still pretty good.
Are you in turn-based mode yet, or are you still trying to complete not turn-based mode?
I'm still trying to complete not turn-based mode. I have moved into the second DLC, I guess it's the third DLC.
So the DLCs have been kind of clearly delineated from the game? They're not...
No, they're definitely blended in there, but I am in the area that was added as part of the DLC.
Oh, okay. I see.
And this latest area is one of the high-level areas, or the most high-level area that I've fought so far, because I have been getting my butt whooped in a few of these fights. So my party of 2 wizards is not necessarily the most hardy group of adventurers, let's say.
Gotcha.
I can kill stuff real good, but then they kill my wizards, and then the rest of my people eventually will die without the wizards' help. So that's not the best, but that's been pretty good. What about you guys? Have you guys been playing anything?
I don't know that we need to talk about Smash a bunch more than we have, but I have completed World of Light.
We did it.
It's time to
There
say.
are no more endings.
There are no more endings for me to complete.
You sure there isn't another map where it's like all gray and you have to fight the black ones and the white ones separately? I don't know. I'm just making stuff up.
I had to go back in, reload my save for New Game Plus to get some tokens. I had to go back in and load my old game to do some different endings that they call the non-complete endings. But I've finished all of that, and I've dipped out of it for trying out some phone games and things like that didn't pan out. But this spirit board is finally something that I'm taking a hard look at, because World of Light grants you about 800 spirits by the end of it. That's a lot, but there are 1,300 to get in the game.
That's more. That's a lot more.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do double work before, but they've had this other feature where it's like, here, go get spirits from this thing called the spirit board, which is like a bounty board where they just put a bunch of spirits on there for you to fight without the whole RPG element of making you better. So you actually are not as strong as you were in World of Light, because none of the RPG bonuses from the sphere grid that you had in that version translate outside of it.
You can't just get like super buffed knockback distance or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Is this the part where you have to like get good at playing Smash?
You have to remember, like, I can't hold Smash indefinitely because I don't have that perk anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. But the Spirit Board has been fun. That game is cool if you like fighting games outside of it. And I wanted to mention that I finished it because their Nintendo's big tournament is happening right now, and they also just had another big tournament that ended in some pretty cool fighting game plays of like, wow, he just had to guess that guy was going to try and meteor smash him and had to land it in that exact space. And I think that's cool because that fighting communities are pretty insulated, I think, from the rest of gaming a little bit. But looking at the Smash community as I was this last week or so, it seemed very diverse and like a lot of people from different backgrounds, etc.
I think I saw a hot take on the internet that said the best tournament and best sports that was played this weekend was that Smash tournament.
It was the highlights from that are pretty good. I can't remember. It's like E6 or something like that.
I believe it is Genesis.
Genesis 6, G6.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're out there, go look up. There's like a 3-minute highlight reel from Genesis 6 of the Smash stuff, and it is totally worth watching. And I probably won't need to talk about Smash after this, because now it just becomes like either classic mode, which is fighting 10 times with one character, or just obtaining spirits. And unlike World of Light, doesn't feel like I need to finish it very quickly or need to have a high skill cap to fight these bosses, right? Because the spirits don't get any harder at this point. The bosses got harder and harder and harder through World of Light, and you had to kind of memorize patterns, and now it feels like a game you can dip into and out of whenever you want. And so that'll be probably the last time I really bring up Smash here.
Cool.
Cool.
What about you, Michael? Been playing anything?
Yeah, so I wrapped up the extra content of Monument Valley,
Nice.
which was really good. I think I had talked about the original levels last week on the pod, and the extra. So there's a bonus set of 8 levels that you can tack on for $1 or so, and then there is one extra level that comes with the base game that is just kind of like an extended multi-piece level. And just like the original, the extra levels were incredibly well put together. The art is wonderful. A couple of these, I think there were 1 or 2 of the extra ones that had me stumped until I sort of figured out the way that everything worked together, because you're sort of working in 3 dimensions that are constantly revolving.
Yeah, really having to puzzle out how to see it, right?
Yeah, and there are ways that you can manipulate your environment so that you're spinning in different directions and into different axes of movement. And there was one level in particular where I just kind of kept going around in the same circle and winding up back in the same place before I finally figured out how to move on.
Cool. I love when you get those. Is it one of those cases where you figure it out and you just feel like, oh, I'm a genius?
Well, and this was one of the ones where you realize, like, after I had put it together, I realized, they actually build a subtle hint into the environment of the game to sort of, if you notice it, it nudges you in the right direction.
They were telling me to do it all along.
Yes. And I just, I wasn't picking up on it.
It's tough, though, because it also is, the puzzles are very Escher-esque, right? And so sometimes they trick your eyes and you just can't see it.
Yeah. And that, I was, spinning the level all around and just didn't see it the first couple of times.
I need to play this game.
You really do. You really do. So I will at some point definitely pick up the second one.
Yeah.
But I did finally, and you gave me a bit of a hard time last week, Andy. I finally picked a game.
I razzed you, man. Just a little.
Yeah. It had been long enough in coming. So I finally picked a game and dove into something new that I've been meaning to play for a while. And I literally and figuratively dusted off my Wii U.
Ooh.
Okay.
I dove into Skyward Sword.
Whoa.
No pun intended.
Blast from the past.
Skyward Sword HD or a Wii version that you brought over?
The Wii version.
Oh, okay, because they did make some edits to that in the HD version. So
did they make an HD version of that, or are you thinking Twilight Princess?
He's thinking of Wind Waker, I think.
No, Skyward Sword doesn't have an HD version.
I don't think so.
It only came out on the Wii, as far as I know.
Well, it could work on the Wii U.
Right, just like anything can if you reboot the Wii mode.
You play it in the backwards compatible mode.
Yeah, they did come out with an HD Twilight Princess and a Wind Waker.
But they never made the Skyward Sword HD. Okay.
No.
All right. Oh, well.
It would be awkward, because you have to have a Wiimote, really, right?
You have to have a Wiimote anyway for the Wii U. One would hope you kept your Wiimotes for the Wii U.
Yeah.
But they're not required. You can definitely get by with just the tablet.
Okay. Sorry to derail you.
No worries.
Okay, Skyward Sword.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I'm, only an hour or two into it. But it's good. It's good. It's definitely it's been a while since I've played a game with a Wiimote. And so the balance of trying to play a Wiimote game, especially if you're just sitting on the couch and not standing up in front of the TV, can be a little finicky sometimes.
Yeah, it is. So I never played Skyward Sword. Let's be clear about that.
Okay.
But is this the one where you have to hold the controller sideways to block or something like that?
You can, so your sword motions are they're directional based on the direction that you slash the Wiimote. So you can thrust the nunchuck forward to use your shield to block, to parry attacks. And then you can, the 8 compass directions are the directions that you can swing your sword in. And then, different enemies are weak to attacks in different directions.
Right. Yeah. Because if you hit them on their shield side, yeah.
Right. It just bounces off.
Yeah. That's one of the complaints a lot of people had about that game and why it was not maybe as popular with the Zelda community as it could have been.
Yeah. It sounds like that. If your Wii remote is finicky, maybe that might be kind of a bummer. You're like, oh, I meant to go diagonal and it went sideways.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know if this is something they pushed later or if it was always this way. It does, every time you turn the game on, it does have you sit the Wiimote flat on a table to recalibrate.
Smart move.
So at least when you first turn it on, it's calibrated.
What sent you back that far into your catalog?
It has just been on my list. I've always been a big fan of the Zelda games, and it's one of the few that I have not actually played.
It's not an Ocarina or a Majora's Mask. It's not a Wind Waker. What do you feel like when you play it now that it's comparable to?
I mean, it does, in some ways, it does actually remind me a little of Ocarina.
Is Skyward Sword the one that's technically the first in the timeline? I can't remember how that timeline.
Why would you do this to us on a podcast when we're not prepared for any of these questions? I don't know. You could go get the 2-volume.
Oh, the Historia.
Historia,
or
where it falls
goes where, and then get the third one whenever.
But yes, JJ, I think it is.
Is it?
I think
Okay.
Skyward Sword is supposed to be.
We can't.
Yeah,
screw this up. I gotta.
We have way
get
more important stuff to talk about.
No. We can't screw
Kingdom
it up.
Hearts 3 has a lot of lore. Let's talk about it, okay? So Xehanort, right? And then, all right, I'm kidding.
I know what you're listening to
Kingdom
when
Hearts
you.
lore.
Yeah. It seems that people think that Skyward Sword is first.
Okay.
In line.
My mind was mostly correct.
Yeah. If you're interested in hearing about Kingdom Hearts 3 lore, Square Enix put out a 20-something minute video.
Yes, actually. Yeah, they put out 5 videos that actually sum up sum up, and they're available in the game as well, apparently. Watch it, and they bring you up to speed in their own words about the stuff that you actually need to know.
There you go.
So that's interesting that, well, anyway, we don't need to talk about Kingdom Hearts here. None of us are actually playing those games.
Although
they come to Switch.
That's true. They're not on Switch yet.
I did read it's only, I guess, mildly spoilery about a very early on in the game there is sort of a trolley moment from the developers. I don't know if you guys heard about warning. This.
No.
Yeah. I saw this article that you read, I think, Michael.
Yeah, probably so. It's pretty funny. So Andy, you play through the first section of the game, and then there's a video, and the screen fades to black, and then it flashes up Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
So good.
And then the game actually starts, and then you get a bit later, you get the Kingdom Hearts 3 logo.
Oh my gosh! Let's see. There's Kingdom Hearts 0.3.
It's 0.2.
0.2. There's Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, Kingdom Hearts 1.8, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 2.5, Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
I don't think all of them have 0.8s, but it's like something like that, yes.
Yeah.
And then there is a 2.8, which is a separate game from 2.5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a 0.2.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's all right. Well, that lore is cool, though, and those videos are good. I don't mean to sound...
look, it's almost impressive as to how they can weave all that stuff together like so densely and in an insane fashion, when clearly the first game, when it came out, had none of that stuff that it touched on. And they have then like fit all this crazy stuff into that series that started way back when.
Way back when.
Yeah. It's like the guy who plays Sora is Haley Joel Osment. Do you guys know that?
Yes. I do know that.
Well, okay then.
Yep. Still, I think.
Yeah, I believe they have kept a lot of the same voice actors from those first games, and like Kyrie is Hayden Panettiere. And I think, gosh, I was listening to, they mentioned who that's right, the guy who voices, there are Final Fantasy characters in those games, right? That's not really a spoiler, I don't think. The guy who voices Squall Leon Hart in that game?
David Boreanaz.
Oh, is he Squall or is he Cloud?
Oh, he's Squall. David Boreanaz is Squall.
Yeah, he's Squall. And the guy who plays, who is it? Is it Sephiroth?
Sephiroth is another big actor, but I don't remember who.
It's Lance Bass from NSYNC.
Oh, okay. Not an actor. I remember the David Boreanaz one because I used it as a selling point to get my not then wife to play this game with me.
So good.
It's like angels in it.
And they like have maintained those people through a lot of the games.
Good for them.
Some of them aren't in, like some of the characters aren't in it anymore, but yeah. Anyway, I just I stand in awe of that franchise. I don't know that I will ever get the time to replay those games.
If they brought it all to the Switch in a playable fashion, I would do it. Just because I liked the first game so much, but I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to get a PS4 to play it. Unless
I believe there's
PS4.
one package you can buy that has like all of the 1 point whatever stuff and the 2 point whatever stuff together on the PS4, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 on top of that. So if people want that, it's out there.
There's Kingdom Hearts 3 wasn't the only two big drops this last week either. If we just got a few minutes, just didn't know if you guys heard about Wargroove.
Yes, I have seen that. That looks like, Andrew, I heard you've been playing some tactics games recently.
Yeah. This is like Uber Tactics. This is back to Advance Wars style.
It looks a lot like Advance Wars.
But maybe not as... I'm curious to look into this. It seems extremely popular and that it took off instantly. The reason I noticed it was because it released 3 days ago, and there was a report this morning, Monday, so a weekend later, that they have paid the development of the game entirely in the first 3 days.
Dang.
Yeah, and for me, if there's a version of Advance Wars that's not as grindy and boring as old Advance Wars is, that would be way up my alley, I think, personally.
The stuff that I saw about it was that people had recreated a bunch of the original Advance Wars and the old Fire Emblem maps in this game using the map editor. And they're uploading here's Fire Emblem 3 map 1 and map 2, and they're slowly recreating the old Fire Emblem campaigns in this game.
Nice.
Because it's essentially direct analogous units. And similarly, people doing those with some of the Advance Wars campaigns.
Wow. And I think we have to also talk about Apex Legends.
I don't know what that is.
Nobody knows what that is?
No.
Okay. Breaking news. We record this on a Monday. This came out this morning. Respawn, who makes the Titanfall games and used to make Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I bumped my microphone there. So, Respawn, who made Call of Duty and Titanfall 2.
Mm-hmm.
They said this morning they just got on the internet and they're like, hey, you guys thought we were developing Titanfall 3. Actually, it's this game. Here's the trailer and some gameplay. It's called Apex Legends, and it's Titanfall but Battle Royale. And it's free, and it's here, and you can play it today.
Okay
then.
Yep. Unlike other Battle Royales, you operate in 3-player squads every game. It's kind of like the hero shooter because there's classes.
Okay, I think that sort of follows with how Titanfall worked, right?
Right, exactly. One of the classes, you guys should look at the Apex. They all have abilities, right? Like there's the bounty hunter, and he can track other players, and there's guys that have tons of health because they're the armored guy, and one of them is called the Pathfinder. And look at that and tell me here. I'm gonna find a picture. Pathfinder Apex Legends, because I know both of you have seen this movie. No? Is that not?
Chappie? Is that what
Chappie? There you go.
It does look like
it is exactly Chappie.
It does look like Chappie.
Yeah. But you can see some of the video of the game on this link as well, and it looks like a game. I don't know. It's been out less than a day, but Seagull from Overwatch was playing it because it's got that hero-based thing going on. A lot of the Call of Duty and Fortnite players were over there as well. Day one. I mean,
for the cost of no dollars, why not? Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody's got abilities. I think they have 2 or 3 abilities, but just like every other battle royale, you jump in from the sky and have to find weapons and ammo and all those other things. So, but the gun battles don't seem to last very long. There's no building or anything like that. It seems just like it's big news because nobody understood what Respawn was doing, and then they were just like, "Here's this free game that looks to be very complicated and." Out of nowhere. But.
Well, that is a certainly unexpected way to end this podcast. All right. Well, Michael, if people want to contact us, where could they do that?
They can email us at podcast@weweregamers, which we will certainly respond to. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to shoot them over to. They can also find us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We Were Gamers at all of those. They can check us out, some of the older videos on our brand new YouTube channel.
Oh,
Yeah, get on there. Like, subscribe.
Did I cover everything? I covered everything.
You didn't answer if you like that Chappie movie, though.
Yeah. That's pretty good.